Welcome, friends and family, to another episode of the Backdoor Cut Show. You can find us on the Barn Burner Podcast Network, on SoundCloud, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, all those cool places. Today we're going to talk Memphis Grizzlies. Had a very eventful week, very exciting week. I'm Zach. With me, I have Rich. You can find me on Twitter at BarnBurnerBro. Rich, you're at what you underscore Mead, right?
Correct. Yes, you got it right. Appreciate that, man.
Nice. You, as always, we're brought to you by the-barnburner.com. A lot of Grizzlies and Tiger and just general college basketball and NBA content up there right now. Had a big University of Memphis win yesterday. I had a put out last night. I was too excited. I just couldn't wait, so I had to do one. Listen to that if you're a Tiger fan. But today we're going to break down some of the Grizzlies action this past week. They won 3 of 4 games, had several very memorable moments that people will look back on the season. I think that the season will actually be known for those moments. But Rich, how have you been, man?
Oh man, I've been good. Haven't feel like it's been a minute since I was on the pod, so I'm happy to be here to talk some shop, man. It's been a very interesting season. One of the more interesting Grizzly rosters that we've been able to have in a long time, and the future looks bright. So looking forward to it.
It's funny that you would talk about a bright future, considering one of the teams the Grizzlies played and beat was the bright future Suns.
Yeah. Definitely. I want to give hats off to Monty Williams, who has seemingly done a good job in Phoenix thus far. They kind of started off a little hot. They kind of cooled off a little bit. But yeah, I guess, are we going to talk about the game a little bit, or are we going to get straight to the moment, the viral sensation?
I think that's all I care about, honestly. So the Grizzlies started the week off in out West Coast against Golden State, beat them 110, 102, whatever. Then on Wednesday night, traveled to Phoenix for the final game of the 4-game road trip. And you want to break down the moment of the season, possibly?
Sure. I'm gonna give it my best shot. I'm not Pete Prenica. I'm not Brevin Knight, but I'm gonna give it a go. So it was another great game, of course. One of those Dylan games. If you all know, he scores over 20, we win. That's just how the season's been going. I think Dylan dropped 27. So setting the scene, fourth quarter. Suns were hanging around a little bit. Ja was having a decent game. Not like shooting off the charts or what have you. And then it happened. Ja, when he just does his fourth quarter thing, like the ball is in his hands. Taylor Jenkins has full trust in him, and Ja was just kind of pondering, looking for a lane, and then for some odd reason, Aaron Baines switched, and it was just Ja and Aaron Baines on an island. Ja proceeded to then crash down the lane. And it's crazy, man. I've never seen anything like the way in which he elevated off the ground, and then did he go up right? Did he jumped?
He reached back.
Yeah, he jumped to the left side of the rim, but ended up finishing with his right hand. So it was a very, and I'm doing this because I know we're live, and if people are watching, they can see my motion. I'm trying to, show y'all what it looked like. But yeah, and it just, you could just hear the crowd in Phoenix react, man. He yammed on that dude. It was Aaron Baines' funeral. I don't know when he was born. Let's just say 1984. 1984 through 2019 was the lifespan of Aaron Baines. Condolences to his family, his closest friends. And yeah, so I don't know, what comes after this. I don't know what Aaron Baines was talking about in the locker room, but I think we've come to see that 9 times out of 10, any game that Ja plays, first and foremost, he's has to be our first player that just trends nationally on GP. He's going to be trending because he does something during the game, that worldwide wob, or somebody's just going to put on a loop and it's going to go viral. But this moment, man, Solomon Hill just tweeted it after that game. He was just 12 different. And that's real. He speaks that into himself. His dad spoke it into him, and he's different, dude. Never seen anybody like him before.
He's probably the only reason, if you're a casual fan or just looking on League Pass, to scroll over to the Grizzlies.
For sure.
We're going to talk about Jaren's big game, of course, but Ja's producing the highlights. That's what people want to see, especially in a game where, I'm going to turn to the Hawks because I want to see Trae Young shooting 40-footers.
Right.
There no other reason. But that's like gives me something to go to on that to watch that game.
That's
And
it.
I can confirm that Aaron Baines' Wikipedia page was actually updated with his date of passing.
There we go. There we go.
So someone got on that trigger real
There we
quick.
go.
That
I'm
was
glad
impressive.
they beat me. So is Ja the face of the franchise?
I think so.
I do too.
I think that when people, if you bring up the Grizzlies to someone, then that's who they think of.
For sure.
Jaren is obviously he's a very good player. We don't know what his ceiling is quite yet, but I think we know that Ja is for sure something special. He is electric.
Yeah.
Now Jaren had, it's awesome that this happened in the same week. Jaren's big game. So we can wrap up this Suns game. Grizzlies won. That was cool. But then Saturday the Bucks came into town and brought Giannis with him. Of course, he sat a prior game, and Saturday we sat Ja. No, sorry, that's on Friday.
Yeah, that was on Friday.
Yeah, Friday. The Grizzlies sat Ja and BC. So the load was going to be on Jaren offensively if this game was to be close at all. Ultimately, wasn't like super close. It was a 13-point game. The Grizzlies lost, but Jaren had a third quarter for the ages for the Grizzlies record books. You do not see someone go off like that very often.
Right.
He had 26 points, 7 threes in the quarter. And let's see, that tied Mike Miller's record of 9 threes in a game, which Mike did twice. Jaren tied that. But that 26 points beat a record previously held by Troy Daniels from 16-17 when he scored 22 points.
Right.
It reminded me very much of like a Klay Thompson quarter.
Yeah.
Because to me, Klay is one of those guys that maybe even more than Steph can just catch fire, lightning in a bottle, and just light you up. Like that one game where he infamously never dribbled.
Yeah.
Like dribbled 3 times and had 30 points or whatever.
Exactly.
That's where Jaren was at. And most of his damage, obviously 7 threes, 26 points, most of his damage was done from behind the 3-point line, which is part of the offensive scheme. And I mean, that was something to watch.
Yeah. I remember I was getting home and I think I got home around like the third quarter, which is where a lot of this went down. And I wasn't planning on really watching the game. I'm going to be honest. But I just
You're going to be honest?
I was like, the game. I was like, the Grizzlies are playing. Yeah, for sure. Let me throw this on the TV. And I think he had hit like 2 or 3. And then I heard Pete Predica gets really excited. He gets really excited. And I just looked up and I just saw Jaren jacking. And it looked like he was, of course, we know Jaren's form. Like it always is.
Twitter was trolling him.
Twitter, House of Highlights, all that was trolling his form. We get it. But that hoe was going in though. And it just looked like he was throwing it in the ocean. He was throwing a rock in the ocean. Like you could just tell, and I've never had a basketball moment. I don't know what that feels like to just be in the zone. And he was unconscious. The guys were doing a good job of finding him. They were really, you could tell, I just love the camaraderie of this team, man. You can just tell they seem to be a close-knit group who really root for each other and egg each other on. And of course, with Ja and BC being off for load injury management, Jaren just took that shining moment, man, and that was a quarter for the ages for the Grizzlies. Dude was just unconscious. We talked a lot coming into the season of him, stretching his shooting range, shooting at least a minimum of however many threes we would like for him to shoot. And you just see there is a strong possibility that Jaren could, despite the form,
I don't know.
Solid threat from 3.
I mean, he shoots better than me and the rest of the most of the world, 95% of the world. But it is kind of funky sometimes, man.
It's like a push shot. It's ugly as hell. But I was like, look, if you're gonna make 7 in a quarter, however many 9 in the game, shit, fuck it, keep shooting that hoe.
You know something that we don't.
Right, clearly. So yeah, that was just a good moment, man. I liked him to be able to have that moment too. His sophomore year. it was really his coming out party last year. This year we have John BC, who are just taking the team by storm. And Jaren was like, hold up, wait a minute, like don't forget about me. Like I'm a part of this core too. I'm a part of this foundation. It started with me. So Jaren being able to have that moment against the Bucks and Giannis, who are just on a tear right now. I think 18 straight or what have you. Was just a cool moment to see, albeit in a loss. But I mean, that's hearsay. Because that moment was just dope as hell.
Absolutely. So that being said, between Ja's dunk and Jaren's outburst in that third quarter, which was a bigger deal? And you can put that however you want, like grade it however you choose. But which do you think was a bigger deal?
Oh man, that's tough. But if I had to answer that, I'm gonna go with Jaren. This is tough, but I'm thinking big picture. So we knew eventually Ja was gonna yam on somebody. He's been trying to yam since
twice a game
he got here. So even his teammates were yanking like, yo, you finally got one. So we know like Ja's athleticism, his fearlessness, like we knew somebody was gonna get got. It just ended up having to be Aaron Baines as the first sacrifice. So I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more Ja postures throughout his Grizzly career. Whereas this Jaren moment, I think it was completely unexpected. I know he had the outburst in Brooklyn last year where he was just balling. But this in particular, like seeing him from three, it was just a moment where it's like, wait, what? Like two, I was like, okay, three, all right. But then when he started heat checking, I was like, oh, yeah. He's in the zone.
Yeah, you could like look in his eye. Usually he's either up or down.
Yeah.
He's showing he's got emotion. He was stone cold killer in the face. Like I've not seen that before. I was like, I'm kind of scared of him right now. Give him the ball.
Same. Yeah, exactly. So I think that's why for me it gets my vote, just because I hadn't seen that moment from Jaren before. We all hadn't. And just to see him in the zone, see him ball out on a night where like his fellow like young core members weren't able to take the floor. I just think that's something, and granted, he was one away from the record. So he's now tied in the record books, and who knows, like he might be able to break it one of these days.
It's very possible. So I'm actually going to take the flip side of that argument and say that Ja's moment was bigger. Okay. Because we mentioned it, or you asked me a few minutes ago, who's the face of the franchise? Is it Ja or Jaren? So I would say it's Ja at this point.
Yeah.
What, if you search social media, Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, wherever, what did you see get called up more?
The dunk.
The dunk.
The dunk.
So to us, yeah, Jaren's outburst was super incredible. But like honestly, Luka, Harden, those guys have been doing that all season long. So many people maybe outside of the Grizzlies fan base just brush that aside. Like, okay, that's cool. Just another person doing that or random game. We can see that night in and night out in Dallas or Houston. But this dunk was something special, something electrifying that could potentially bring a lot more eyes to Grizzlies basketball.
Yeah, definitely. I knew Ja was the face when the first iteration of the Vancouver apparel was released. And I was going to buy some stuff, and all they had for adult male jerseys was the Jaren Jackson Jr. throwback. And literally all the comments all on Twitter is just like, where the fuck is the Ja Morant Vancouver throwback? Like, I still don't think it's available. And so there were a lot of people like, well, shit, damn, I guess I got to get the Jaren one.
The Jaren.
So they're probably going to hold off Ja for like the black maybe. And I personally was waiting on the black anyway. So definitely looking forward to copping that Ja Morant black Vancouver Grizzlies jersey. But yeah, everybody wanted Ja's jersey, not Jaren.
I definitely got a China version of the black one already.
I
can't wait till next year, man.
Nobody will know. I mean, nobody knows the fucking difference. I'm starting slow. I got the teal hoodie, just for this season. Then when the black rolls out, I get the black Morant.
That's nice. Yeah, the teal looks real good. They're gonna wear that tomorrow against Miami too.
Yes.
Yeah, that teal is really fresh. Even my mom was talking about it, how much she loved it. So,
hey, that's all the validation you need. That's it right there.
So I ran that poll on Twitter, and 57% of the people who voted on it said the Ja dunk on Baines was a bigger deal. So I didn't really clarify what's a bigger deal. Kind of left that up to interpretation for whoever was voting, and that's kind of how that went.
Hey, there you go. I stand corrected.
Hey, man, if more people would have voted, it could have changed. There's no right or wrong answer there.
I was close. That dunk was beautiful though. That was a fucking 12 different. Like I
said, we hadn't even talked. So Grizzlies end up losing to the Bucks on Friday, and then Saturday play the Wizards.
Yeah. Oh, before we move on, did you hear about Giannis and why he circled this game on his calendar?
The Grizzlies game?
Yeah.
No.
So I feel like it was super petty, but like, so I was reading an article on The Athletic, and Giannis, of course, we saw him take over in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. And he was saying like, yeah, I had this. Well, he's like Greek. I don't know his accent, but he was like, yeah. So this is just Richard talking. He was like, yeah. So I had this game circled on my calendar, and like the reporter was going back like, why is that? Why is the importance? And so it's because over the summer, like the FIBA Cup, Bruno Caboclo's Brazil squad beat Greece, and I think Bruno might have. I don't even know if Bruno had a major hand in that, but apparently for something he rubbed Giannis the wrong way. And so literally if you were watching the game, you saw Giannis get a technical after dunking on him because he was just running back on the court, like just talking. And Bruno's like completely not paying any attention to him. No. like none whatsoever. And like, I just think it's like, okay, so you're the reigning MVP, at least top two player in the league. Bruno Caboclo is he's probably honored that you're mentioning him right now. He's a fringe rotation player for the Memphis Grizzlies. Like, Giannis, you have much bigger fish to fry, bro. But
you got to be better than that.
Yeah, you're much better than that, bro. But I was like, okay, dude, weird flex.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't know. I was wondering what the background was there.
Yep, all through FIBA.
Why would you chirp at Bruno? Like,
right? Like, come on, bro.
We love him here, but like.
Right. Nobody knows him. Like, who cares? You just look like a bully.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's goofy. A couple other notes. We talked about Ja in the fourth quarter. So this week he played in 3 of the games. In those games, he averaged 10 points in the fourth quarter for those games. And it's not like he's taking a whole bunch of shots. Mm-hmm. Very efficient, 64% from the field in those games. Wow. So he really is balling out in fourth quarters. For the season, he's averaging 8.5 points in fourth quarter, and that is behind only Harden and Giannis in fourth quarter scoring. Yep.
That's big.
And that's on 50% shooting, so still a pretty good rate. And then the rest of the guys right behind him are like Kawhi, Dame, so all-stars.
He's in good company.
All NBA players is like I think that's a very critical stat that we can point to. It's been talked about a lot, but I don't think that it should go unnoticed.
Fuck, we looked up, dude.
Dude, so many times I'm like, how that guy's on our team?
Yeah. We looked the fuck up.
That doesn't even make sense at all.
Oh shit, I'm gonna enjoy the ride.
Talking Dylan a little bit earlier, you mentioned that if he scores 20 points, then we win. I don't know exactly how many games that is, but we've won all the games where he scored 20 or more. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate him stopping at 19 for the Bucks game. That was a heads-up play. He had like 17 in the first half. Yeah. One bucket in the second half. So that was very heads-up play by Dylan, not to ruin his streak there.
For sure.
But there's another part of it that he's averaging in the wins. So he's played in 26 games, not 9 and 17. The Grizzlies are in that stretch. He's averaging 1.44 points per field goal attempt, which is pretty solid. Mm-hmm. And averaging almost 23 points per game in those wins. In losses, he's averaging 0.88 points per field goal attempt and only 10 points per game. So there is definitely some correlation there between when the Grizzlies win is when Dylan plays well. Not saying it's the only factor, obviously, but there is something there. A lot of that, I'm sure, has to do with he's actually taking good shots because there's good Dylan and there's bad Dylan.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to be Mike Conley with this floater Dylan on 2 people, or like, I'm just going to catch and shoot this 3 that I hit at a 50% clip, Dylan.
Yeah. Big facts. There's like no in between.
No.
At all. There's no in between. It's like some days Dylan looks like, that two guard foundational piece for the future. I know he's got contract negotiation stuff coming up. He looks like somebody that like the Grizzlies might want to keep. Then it's other days, man. I'm just like, what the fuck, bro? Like, what are you doing? But it's like, who is the real Dylan? Like, which one is the real Dylan? Like, it's been what? This is the third year. I still don't know. I still can't answer that question, which is very interesting.
Yeah, he's trended in the right direction. My opinion right now of him is that if he's doing the things that he's in the right situation to be doing with catching and shooting, not being a primary ball handler, then he's a good player.
Yeah.
His defense hasn't been as good this year as maybe even his rookie season, I don't think, but he's still coming back from injury and he's had some tough assignments, so I think there's some work that can be done there, but overall, he started off like doo-doo, but the first 5 games, but since then he's been a pretty fun player to watch.
Yeah, for sure. Because when Dylan gets hot, Dylan's hot too.
Yeah,
like he's one of those players where it's like he gets in the zone. He's a very confident player.
Always, no matter if he's hot or not,
unwavering, whether he's hot or not. And like at the end of the day, you can't teach that. Like that's just something you have in you or you don't. And when he's on and he's feeling good, that shot looks nice. That shot is going in and going well. And, I'm just happy that there is somebody from the two that can generate that offense. I mean, I'm also happy that DeAnthony Melton's a part of the rotation now. Thank God. But yeah, I'm just happy that somebody can
tell
shoot.
Me more about Melton.
Oh, DeAnthony, my guy. So he's born and raised in Los Angeles. Okay, I'm gonna start with the Grizzlies. So yeah, man. Just talk about we always hear the old adage: if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And I think that can be attributed to DeAnthony for sure. When Ja was out with the back spasms, what have you, DeAnthony was of course thrust into the lineup, and he seemingly seized the opportunity. To where it even looks like now, even with the return of Ja, DeAnthony is still receiving minutes, solid minutes in the backcourt. And he just seemingly to me like kind of looks like a Swiss Army knife. Like he can play defense. It looks like the Grizz are using him as a 1. I don't know how much experience he has with the 1, but he can bring the ball up. He can slash. The outside shot is still, a work in progress. But yeah, one thing I think you can't ever question with him is the heart. Like he's out there hustling, he's out there grinding. And anytime you can take some minutes away from Marko Guduric, I'm happy, man. So shout out to DeAnthony Melton for sure.
Yeah, Marko. Yeah,
it's just not pretty, bro. It's not working, bro.
Melton's really impressed me on the defensive side for sure.
Facts.
His wingspan, he looks like a mini Bruno out there, kind of.
His arms are long as
front
shit.
court Bruno, yeah.
Yes, like it's ridiculous. Like yesterday, it was Saturday on the Wizards game. Yesterday was Saturday. Yesterday in the Wizards game, he like had a dunk, but it was just strictly straight from the vert. Like literally, he caught it in the paint, like just straight vert jump dunk. And I'm just like, damn. Like 1, your arms are long as hell, but 2, clearly you can just like palm the ball, like and just jump one hand dunk. Like your hands are big as shit too. Like so, he's an intriguing prospect, man, and definitely excited to finally get to see him on the court since we were told over the summer that he was who the Grizzlies were, targeting in that Phoenix deal with Javon Carter. So definitely excited to see him as a part of the rotation and see what comes of it.
Yeah, he was asked to do a little bit too much in that Milwaukee game. With Ja being out.
Yeah.
But that's not his role. That's not what he's going to have to do long term. So I wouldn't take too much stock in anything that happened there. A couple other tidbits. So I found on Twitter at Grizzly Reality. Sorry. This man did some searching on Basketball Reference, and per B-Ball Ref, Brandon Clark is the only NBA player who's recorded at least 20 games in a season to put up 60, 50, 80 shooting splits. Ooh. Meaning 60% from the field, 50% from 3, 80% from the free throw line in at least 20 games a season. Of course, we still have a long way to go in the season, being a little bit over a quarter through it, but I mean, we all know that BC shoots the shots that he can make.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a really fascinating note.
Yeah, he's cold, man. Like he just never looks out of place on the court. Like he always looks like he's playing the game within the game. Like he's doing his thing. He knows what his strengths are. Like I feel like, the floaters are one of the toughest shots to me in basketball. And he just makes the floater look like like butter. Like he just throws it up, he's catching the lobs. And like I think we came in like hearing about him as an athlete. But I think what I've seen is just like his basketball repertoire is just vast. Like he's becoming a more confident 3-point shooter. The stroke looks pretty good. He's only going to grow as a defender because I was, thinking like, is he a tweener? Like, what is his actual role? But, he's just an intriguing prospect, man. That, shout out to the Grizzlies scouting department for, swooping in and grabbing him at 21. But I was seeing some talk on Twitter like earlier, like definitely. And I think Taylor Jenkins even said it yesterday post game. If they were doing a redraft today,
He did.
Brandon Clark is top 10, no doubt.
I would have to, definitely agree with that. I think that he's probably going to be in the race for first team all rookie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think that there's a definite chance that he and Ja could both be on there.
Yeah, definitely, because there were some stinkers in this class, like who haven't done like much of anything. So,
Grizz God says great points on Clark. We appreciate that at Grizz God.
Most definitely.
For those of you who don't know, we're also streaming this live on Periscope on Twitter from _barnburner. So if you want to interact with us, not on that close camera angle I just pulled up. But if you want to interact with us, hop on here, ask us some questions, whatever you want. Also, Zach Harper from The Athletic. So we've been talking about throughout the year how Jay Crowder is Mr. Let It Fly. He don't care. So some sobering news there. The Grizzlies forward, he said, this is quote from Zach Harper of The Athletic. The Grizzlies forward cannot knock down a 3-point shot in transition to save the offense right now. On the season, Crowder is 7 of 29 on 3-point attempts in transition. It's 24%. He's terrible when leading the break, scoring just 2 points on 12 possessions as the guy leading the break, and he turned the ball over 7 times on those 12 possessions.
Damn.
So he scored 70 points per 100 possessions in transition, to sum it up. So that part's not great.
It's not. He's the vet, though. He's the vet, so nobody's going to check him. Nobody can say anything. So he's the vet.
Not a chance. He gets that rebound. He's like, I'm just taking this. Or he's like, the guard may be a little bit too far up court, and he's coming back for the ball. Coming back for that rebound from Jonas, saying, "Hey, hit me up with this."
Yeah, he's the.
I'm trying to get traded out of here, man. I ain't trying to be here all day. Out of here.
Hey, shout out to Solo too, man. 4-4 from 3-point range last night. Solo trying to go somewhere too.
He's trying to get out of here too.
He's trying to get out of here.
All these folks trying to leave. I'm not mad at him.
Me neither. Not at all. By all means, eat.
And then I think that pretty much sums up all my tidbits that I got for the week. Anything else you want to add?
Let's see who we got tomorrow. Miami, right?
Yeah, good questions.
Ooh, I hope the Heat wear their Vice jerseys. That would be a pretty ass game.
Ooh, yeah, they wore They did wear them.
They wore them Friday versus the Lakers.
Their court's pretty cool. Their Vice court.
For sure.
I could dig that. Play Heat at home Monday, then on the road Wednesday against the Thunder.
Okay.
Friday in Cleveland. Saturday the Kings at home, and then the 23rd the Spurs at home.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's kind of like Grizz could definitely win a couple of those games.
Yeah, OKC, Cleveland, Sacramento, San Antonio now. And I think they got the Thunder again right after the Spurs.
Yeah, so really, if that's your thing, the Grizzlies winning the games, you hadn't decided on tanking or anything, then
man, I'm trying to convey this year, man. I'm trying to convey this year, man.
Oh, you're not trying to add Anthony Edwards?
So there was some chatter on Twitter earlier today about the whole Wiseman, Edwards, LaMelo Ball, debate or what have you. And somebody pointed out like, well, I don't really think this is a deep draft class, and we already have Jaren and BC. And so somebody was like, so do you not take James Wiseman just because you have Jaren and BC? And there was some chatter around that. I don't really know the answer to that question. Definitely looking forward. Free James Wiseman. January 12th can't come soon enough. Shout out to Penny though and the job they've done without him. But yeah, I mean, if we could get Anthony Edwards, but I just think the way when you look at the bottom of the league, like the Grizzlies are better than a lot of these teams, just talent wise.
Oh yeah, the bottom is real
bottom,
bad.
like you talking Cleveland, all that, they're terrible. And so the Grizzlies are going to win some games. New York, exactly. And so Anthony Edwards would be amazing at the 2. Like if we had Anthony Edwards, of course. I don't really think LaMelo would fit because I think he's a ball dominant guard. We have Ja, so that we don't need that. I don't know, but if we could convey this year, man, and get like a Jalen Green, whoo.
The problem is we have to be really bad.
We have to be really bad next year because the protections. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a tough debate.
Yeah, we definitely got some draft talk coming up. I got thoughts on that. We don't have to get there tonight
for sure.
Grizz God chimed in again and said that Jay Crowder's favorite restaurant has to be Mike Miller's spot.
Let it fly, baby.
Referencing Let It Fly.
Let it fly.
I would have to agree with that. That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, Grizz God's wise man.
He probably actually is a part owner.
Probably.
Or got stock, or I don't know exactly how he's doing his ownership there. But
some time out there in Germantown in that shopping strip. Yeah. Shout out Mike Miller, man.
We appreciate everyone interacting with us on Periscope. Follow _barnburner. Put us on alert. Next time we record live, you can interact with us. Subscribe to the Barn Burner Podcast Network for this show and other shows. And go Grizz. We'll see you next time.
Peace.